Well, old friend, it's time for a tune-up. You hear that? It's no good. Little draw knife, little filing, get you back in working order. I just need to see a man about a horse. Stay put. Perfect. Considering I'm trying to make this entire thing fold up and break down so that I can carry it away, I really want my riser block to also fit into this area somehow. I think I have an idea, and I am totally winging this, but let's see if it works. Well, it may not look super pretty, but I know it works, and I can make some adjustments as I get further along and figure out where everything sits in space, but for now, I know it works. It's kind of hard for me to move forward without seeing this thing in space, so I need to raise it up to be about 20 inches tall. That way I can figure out where everything else goes. Maybe we'll go with the legs next. I have a solution. Everybody's got a million of these buckets sitting around, right? They're 14.5 inches tall. You know what that means? 20 inches. All right, now that I got it sitting in space, I got all the ideas. I'm gonna use this old angle iron and make some swing down feet. I'm gonna do that by drilling a hole all the way through this, putting this pipe through, which will help the structural integrity, and then I'll be putting this round rod through the pipe and then welding the round rod to the feet. Savvy? You know, if I had thought this out ahead of time, I would have pre-drilled my holes to make sure they all lined up. I didn't. We'll do it live! Alright, now I know the legs function properly, but what I'm going to do is add a piece of this angle iron to the back here so it's got some positive stop when it's open all the way. The last thing I'm going to do is just add some feet to the bottom. Similar to the table I worked on in the last video, I've got it sitting in space. I know this is where it wants to sit level. I can weld these up and then cut the interiors out so that it still seats properly. Nice! Now that we got the back end done, I need to start working on the front. I already know it's too long, so first things first. I'm going to do something similar with the front, running a pipe all the way through it, angle iron down, but I'm just going to beef everything up so it's got a nice big foot in the front. Let's do this. Next thing I'm going to do is just make a material board here. It'll be on a simple hinge and just screwed in from the edges. That way it'll flop up and down as this thing goes into storage. Alright, that's sorted. Now I'm just going to add the top jaw with these two pieces of offcut. I'm going to start by connecting them at the bottom because that way I can build it in space and see where everything pivots and sits. Easy peasy. Gone ahead and propped this up 3 inches off the ground because that's about the size of my heel. Now I can mark it in space where I'll need to drill, and then I can position it correctly and run it all the way through. So I've got it pretty much where I want it. I did that just by moving it forward and backward until I found something that was relatively comfortable. If it was too far forward, my feet were all the way out here, and if it was too close, they were underneath me. So from here, it's a comfortable sitting position, and then as I push forward, it doesn't have to travel very far before it hits the jaws. Good to go. The last thing I need to do is attach the top of the jaw. I've got this dowel that I octagonalized. I'm only going to do a single screw, that way when it hits, you can rotate it and try and find the best bracing against the bottom jaw. Well, technically it's done because it works and functions the way it's meant to, but you know, I want it to look a little bit nicer, and I also want everything to fold up so that I can carry it away. Time for the encore. Alright, there's 2 more things I want to do. I want to create a catch for this that also pivots up and becomes a backstop for when I'm sitting here. Don't fall off the edge. I've already made a little cardboard template so I know what I'm aiming for. Let's get to it. Alright, I'm going to try something downright silly. I want this to be inset when I'm working on it, and then when I go to pick everything up, I want it to come out and travel a little bit forward to catch this bar underneath, right here, this bar. That way everything gets lifted at once. Now we just need to make some feetsies that catch that bar. I've already got the feet hooked around the bar, so what I'm going to do is position this in space and weld all this together, and it should work? Question mark? Nice! Needs a paint job. Gives me an idea. Now that is a good looking horse. What do you say we go fix that hammer? How many people you know can carry a horse?